what are the roles in data science? I'll first walk through an example, a case study, a typical data science case study, a very interesting one at that. And then we'll break down this solution into the different components and see what are the roles required to build such a solution and what are the career paths available. So for this, I'll switch to an interactive version. So this is a cargo carrier. The challenge they're facing is they have SLA for turnaround time. From the time goods arrive at the airport till the time they move to the warehouse, they have a 1.5 hour SLA. And they currently they are not meeting it. They want to use data science to find out what really is causing it, number one. And number two, what are the potential actions they can take to fix it? So how can data science help here? This visual shows the different likely factors which could impact it. The shift, is it the morning shift, night shift, or evening shift? And you can see that the color here shows the turnaround time. 1.5 hours is green. Anything which is closer to 2 hours is red, not favorable. You can see that morning shift takes about 1.7 hours, not very great compared to the night shift, which took about 1.6 hours. So when you click on morning, Friday mornings aren't great. And any item, if I further click on Fridays and look at what happens on Friday mornings. So you click on Friday and you see that ZDH, which is like a fragile category. Any item which is fragile item shipped on Fridays take a lot of time. And any fragile item which is part shipped less than 20% takes a lot of time. So now this helps you discover all those likely paths which take time. And you can, when you set a threshold, you can find out what are those likely causes which are pulling down the SLA. Now that's first step, the diagnostic analytics. The second part is, what do I do about it? Now that I know these problems, I have 5 people. If I increase this to 6 or say 7 people, what happens? There's a what if simulation model which runs in the background, recomputes all those combinations and says, when you have 7 people, this is the likely turnaround time on a Friday morning, and so on. So this is the simulation modeling which gives you the likely answers, which helps you make decisions. The actual solution has several factors like this, like the number of forklifts and other resources available, so that the organization can optimize it. So this is an example of a solution. So now, if you were to break this into different components, there are 5 building blocks. First, you need to understand the domain. What is the business workflow? We talked about turnaround time, and we talked about the likely influencing factors. And when you talk about analytics, we did impact analytics, diagnostics, and what if modeling. And design skills are needed to understand the user journey and build the visual layer with right aesthetics. And coding skills are needed, development, where you need the front end, and back end coding skills and data transformation for connecting it back to the data pipelines. And project management to get it all together and manage the change when you roll it out to users. So with these 5 building blocks, what are the different roles that you need? For each of these building blocks, for instance, domain, the role which is available, the popular role is called as the data translator. This person comes from a domain background, a business expert who has ability to perform business analysis and solutioning. The person doesn't need, the person does not need to know coding, doesn't have to be a statistics expert, should have a good fluency over data and should be able to understand the other components, but doesn't have to be an expert. Data scientist, statistics, machine learning, able to interpret insights and scripting skills, but need not be a coding expert. Coding is nice to have. Some scripting skills are essential, but doesn't have to be a front-end, back-end coding expert. Information designer comes in with the visualization, interface design skills, aesthetics, color theory. They need to understand all of that. Development, the role is called ML engineer. Software engineering expertise with the front-end, back-end coding expertise, and ability to connect to the data pipelines. And this person, you can clearly see this distinction. A person who gets into this role doesn't have to be an expert in machine learning. This person builds the machine learning model. This person encases it into a software package. Project management is where You have data science manager coming up with project management skills, business analysis, and solutioning. Compared to a typical technology manager, this person needs to understand the probabilistic nature of analytics projects. It should be able to manage change, tackle the change management issues. So those are some critical attributes needed. So here the takeaway is there are 5 roles. If you don't want to get into a coding role but still want as per a career in data science, there are paths available. So you can choose what's the based on your background, based on the primary skill that you want to build, what is the career path you want to take, and all of these are available. And this is where the industry is moving. We talked about some immature organizations who put out like full-blown JDs, but organizations mostly are moving towards these 5 career paths.